right, so we are here at Heights International Talk with the man of the hour, Javi. Javi, introduce yourself. Who are you? What do tell us a little bit about you.
Javier Largaspada, Jav, your girlfriend's favorite rapper. Also, the technology ambassador here at Keller Williams.
Good deal.
I do a lot of several other things. Podcaster myself. I'm on also on the Ambition Hour. So if you guys want to know a little bit more about hip hop and more about that, you guys could check that out. And yeah, I'm here to discuss great topics that we have lined up for you guys today. So let's get into it, man.
So Javi, just briefly tell us what's the flavor that we're gonna be talking about today?
What we want to talk about today is what motivates you, business, and also perfecting your one thing.
Okay, good deal.
In this day and age, we talk a lot about multitasking. We're driving, we're texting, we're doing so much at one time.
Yep.
I think it's important, and as we know, it's important to focus on that thing, on your one thing.
Yep. And then who's the target audience for this awesome podcast?
Entrepreneurs. We want to reach out to those entrepreneurs, those in business, those hustlers, those go-getters, those miracle mile runners, those that are waking up at 6 a.m. to not only, perfect themselves, but to be up before the competition.
Exactly. Yeah. So awesome. We got a lot of great topics ahead of us. So let me do a little introduction about me. I am the owner and founder of Heights International Group. We're an expanding real estate group and team, a part of Keller Williams. Javi is the man, the tech ambassador, the tech guru. He's the one who's helping us put all this together. So we're excited. We're excited to have Javi with us and just take charge of this. So this is episode 1 of an amazing journey with HIT. So HIT is Heights International Talk podcast. All right, so I'll start it off. So I was reading this book. It's called Onward. A lot of you guys might know it. A lot of business guys out there, business gals, by Howard Schultz, I don't think he's a founder.
He's a CEO,
right? Once was a CEO of Starbucks, those very expensive lattes that we like to get. And he wrote this book called Onward. And one of the beginning chapters of the book, he opened it off with how he closed off thousands of stores worldwide just to perfect their espressos. So think about that, Javi. Closing down every single door of Starbucks for
Crazy.
one day just so they can learn how to pull an espresso shot, just so that they can perfect their espresso shot.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, he was the chairman between 1986 and 2000, so that's probably some between now and then. That's pretty ridiculous. I mean, imagine how many people were like pissed off that Starbucks was closed, right?
Not only that, but think about it. And then what he did, he had every single store, and they put in a little note on the front of the store, and then it said on the note, it said, "We are perfecting our espresso." Now think about that. How many of us are willing to take a day off to perfect your espresso in your business? So if you're a lot of real estate agents, they're going to be looking at this podcast. How many of you guys are willing to take a day off to learn your business, to learn your craft?
Right. That's so true. Like it's almost even like if you to self-invest, are you ready to close up shop and, focus on your mindset and readjust?
Yep.
Or are you ready to, not take the day off, because it's not technically taking the day off, right? Because you're worried about your one thing, right? So
exactly.
Taking that day and going to a training.
Exactly.
Some of us always think, "Oh man, I can't. I gotta be on the grind.
Exactly.
I have to be making my calls. This, that, and the third." But what if you took this step back? And I think that's probably what Howard was thinking at that point. How can we perfect this and be the number one at that thing and that thing only? And
it's so true, right? So many of us are willing to pay $7-8 for a cup of coffee, which we can go out there and just make it for 50 cents.
Yeah, or you could buy an espresso machine, right, and spend about $50, probably the cheapest on Amazon Prime, and then
Make it yourself.
Make it yourself. But you never perfected it.
You never perfected it.
You never perfected it.
So you never took the time. I
like
that.
You never took the time. You know, you spend the $50, no problem.
Yeah.
You know, you see the expenses going up, right? Starbucks after a couple of months, you know, that's $9 each day. Do the math.
Exactly.
So then you're like, okay, hold on, let's take this back. Let me buy the espresso machine. Let me buy the coffee. Let me start doing it. But then you're like, it's not. It doesn't hit the same.
It doesn't.
It's not the same, right?
Exactly.
I don't know what it is in there. You start thinking about that. You start breaking all these exclusives. Okay, you know what? Forget that espresso machine. I'm going to Starbucks and spending the $8 because they perfect it.
Exactly. And I mean, and I don't know who said this, you know, Gandhi, I don't know.
Somebody.
He said, you know, I'd rather learn one move 1,000 times than 1,000 moves and doing it just one time. So think about that. It's you know, the whole wax on, wax off. You know, why did Mr. Miyagi make him do the wax on, wax on, wax on, wax on, wax off, wax on? Why? So that once he came into a battle scene, right, he knew that, whoa, he knew how to protect himself.
Exactly.
It was about the little things, perfecting the little things that was going to be, you know, at the end of the movie, you know, the Karate Kid, protect them, and, you know.
Right, and I think this even brings up a topic, and we might be going a little off topic here, but, like, it even gives that what you do in the dark will show up in the light.
Yeah.
Eventually, you know, that's
a
lot of boxers use that terminology, because what they do, or even MMA fighters, they're doing these combinations, you know, this, that, and the third. But if you're slacking off when the big lights are on, or you're at that listing presentation, or it's time for you to make that coffee, you start shaking, or you're at the Karate Kid, you know.
Yeah.
You're ready. You have the motions. Your body is just telling you. You're not even thinking as much as you would think you are. Your body's just reacting to what's coming across.
Exactly.
So really, why wouldn't you perfect it?
Exactly.
We want success so quick. We want instant gratification. You know, okay, Javi, I do this a lot. I tell my agents, hey, go on Instagram, do these hashtags, you know, to clean up your bio, put that professional headshot. Oh, I did it for a week, and I'm only getting 20 likes.
You know what's funny? I was thinking about this, and I was giving a class on social media as well to a whole bunch of real estate agents out there, and then someone asked me, and they said, "Are you sure you want to give out all your secrets, you know, to your competitors, even though we're in the same office, in the same building, in the same market, and everything like that? But there's still our competition." And yeah, that is true. And then someone asked me, it's like, well, why are you going to teach a class to your competitors so they can go out there and do it? And then, you know what I started to think about, Javi, was I can teach this over and over and over again, but the amount of people who are going to go out there and implement it are just going to be the very few. So even though I want them to learn so they can be successful in their business, I know deep down inside only a few of them are going to take it and implement it.
Those are your 2%ers, right, in that class. There's probably going to be 2% of those attendees that are actually going to implement it.
Exactly.
And those two are actually going to be so thankful, so that you're going to be paid with gratitude.
Oh, absolutely.
And to me, that's worth money itself. You know, so exactly, like, and that's a little bit of a poor man's mentality.
Yeah.
Right. You know, a weak man takes, a powerful man gives.
Exactly.
Man or woman, you know, doesn't case.
It's getting deep.
But it's so true.
It is.
It's so true. Like, why not give? I have the knowledge, you know, and like you said, not that many people are going to implement it, right? People could go ahead and make the videos that I can about command, this, that, and the third, but are they? Yeah. You know, people could go ahead and they could start a podcast, but are you going to do it?
Yeah, that's true.
You know, people have a lot of ideas. You know, they have a lot of ideas, or you know, they again to the multitasking. You're going. Oh, let me start a podcast. Let me do the live on Instagram. Let me do all this stuff, rather than perfecting your espresso.
Yeah, isn't that true, man?
If that's your thing, that's your thing.
Exactly. So, and Javi, help me out here. So, a lot of the viewers, they might not know the whole Keller Williams Kool-Aid, right?
Right.
So, tell me about what's the one thing. What's your one thing? Your big why. What are those two things?
So, to me, what that means, or when I get asked those questions, what motivates you? What's your one thing?
Mm-hmm.
I think about what gets that ass up in the morning.
Yep.
Excuse me, cursing. I'm not sure if we could curse on here, but but what gets you up? What lights that fire in that booty?
Mm-hmm.
To keep
What
on
gets
going?
you up in the morning?
What gets you up in the morning? What is the reason? What's the rhyme behind reasoning of why you work so hard? Why you're putting up these late hours? Why you stay later in the office? So for me, my one thing is.
Well, hold on. Let's go with the big why first.
Oh, yeah.
Because if we know the big why,
we know
then we know how to do how to focus on the one thing.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so the big why. The big why is what gets us up in the morning.
What fires us
right?
up.
And then
Our
now,
rhyme behind reason.
Okay, let me ask you this, Javi. Do you think knowing your big why, can your big why be a little too small?
No.
No? Okay. Tell me.
Well, okay. Hold on. I misspoke. It can be too small because sometimes we think on the surface level.
Okay.
We think, oh, it's this.
Okay.
And,
gotcha.
And then again, you do not want to invalidate someone's big why. But there's always a second layer there.
Okay. I was listening to Grant today on my drive here to work.
The uncle?
And he said, and he was talking about his testimony and his whole life experience at the age of 25, coming out of drugs and then going into car salesman and then just killing it in his business, and then now he is Grant Cardone is
Grant Cardone.
Grant Cardone. So but he was telling me like he was talking to me. What I took away from it was that he said all his goals, they were always subpar to what he could actually achieve. Right? So here was his goals, and what he could actually achieve was much higher. Think about that, right? So sometimes, even though we think, oh man, I want to have a gross commission income of $2 million. Well, that's a good goal to have, but your potential is here, right? And then so what he was saying was that his goal is always way far under what he can actually achieve. Doesn't mean he always do it, but his goal is always way lower. And it's not that he's doing it purposefully. It's just that we have this mentality of thinking, man, I'm just not that good enough. Or I'm worth 2 million, or I'm worth $1 million, or I'm worth, in the real estate, I'm worth, selling 15 houses a year, 20 houses a year. I'm worth this, or I'm worth that. Or, if you're in the car salesmanship, man, I can only sell 10 cars this month, or whatever it is,
Right, because when you do that, you kind of, why not reach for the stars?
Yeah.
And you kind of, and it's almost your own mentality. You're almost saying, well, before I get to, you're trying to be smart or realistic, which is the worst advice that anyone has given me. Be realistic, because then you're trying to be realistic, or you're justifying, oh, let me sell those 10 cars because I haven't even sold 5 cars yet.
Yeah.
Or I haven't done 9. And it brings me to, because I also think about what I've been running a little bit more now, and I feel like instead of physical exercise, I feel like it's more mental. For me, that's how I take it. So it's like, like sometimes I give myself at the stop sign, I'm gonna stop.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna walk.
If you're a runner, you actually know what that means. It's like you see that stop sign, and you're like, I'm gonna take a break at that stop.
At that stop sign or at that corner, I'm gonna I'm gonna take a breath.
But that's only your limiting beliefs telling you that. But your body is like, let's go. Yeah, we can do it. We have the capacity to just keep going.
So what I do sometimes is I play mind tricks with myself. Is that because sometimes this guy's messed up here. That drunk monkey. Another killerism. That drunk monkey up there is like, man, you really should stop. Man, you've been running for a while. Like they start justifying it. Take it easy, man. You don't want to hurt yourself. You don't want to injure. The legs are flaring up. But then you're
tired.
You're like, okay, I passed the stop sign. What if I kept on running 5 more steps? And then don't stop at all.
It's funny when I was in the military, and we would have PT, physical training, right?
Right.
And they would.
Thank you for your services.
One of my sergeants, he would always tell me it's It doesn't matter if you can do 100 push-ups. It's those last 2 push-ups at the 100 that counts. So you can do 100 push-ups, right? You can do muscle memory.
Wow.
You won't even feel it. It's all just repetition. You know, it's like, okay. And then once you get to 100 and you know mentally, psychologically, you're saying, this is where I stop. This is where I'm done. And then you're like, oh, now I'm all of a sudden I'm tired. But what he was telling me, what my sergeant was telling me is those last 2 push-ups is what changes the body. The
U.S. where you see the results.
Yeah, exactly, right? So if you want to continue, if you want to see those results, man, once you get to that 100, do 2 more. Now let's talk in business term, right? Since this is a business podcast. What about once you reach your goal? Maybe you want to earn $100,000 a year. Okay, that's your 100 push-ups that you psychologically told yourself that you could get to, right? What about maybe 120,000, 200,000, 300,000? So for some of you guys listening right now, if I told you can make $200,000 a year, is that a lot? Is that unrealistic? Is 50,000 realistic to you, but not 200,000? What do you guys think? I mean,
yeah, comment below. I mean, well, I would say no. You know, I think that's too low.
Too low. Yeah.
You know, I would say because it's almost like coming in and you're like saying, you know what, that 3rd place trophy kind of looks good. You know, like it's still nice. Mm-hmm. You know, it has my name. It's gonna have my name on it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's so funny because these are goals that we set up for ourselves, but we're afraid to fail ourselves in our goals, so we get comfortable. And we say, no, you know, or I'm coming off of working. You know, a lot of agents come from working at another place. Yeah. And then they're making you know 30, or they're making somewhere up towards 150,000 a year. Yeah. So we're like, well, if I could just make the same amount that I made at my previous job, this will be worth it. Yeah. All of a sudden, you know, this will be worth it. But why not break that threshold? You know, if I'm coming, you know, why not aim for the stars for you can land on the moon? Exactly. I mean, excuse me. If you get this is a quote. Why not aim for the stars for you can land on the clouds? If you don't hit the stars. Yeah. Right, because you're still in a higher place, and you might be higher than you actually think. And like, oh dang, if there was 13 months, I would have reached my goal.
You know what's funny? I like what you said earlier. You said, you know, I hate when people say, "Don't be realistic," right? What if someone said that to Michael Jordan?
Right. Oh my. Yeah, or say, no. Well, be realistic. Yeah.
Yeah. Be realistic. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Be realistic.
Be realistic.
You know, what if someone said that
to say that to Kobe
Steve
Bryant,
Jobs.
says to Steve Jobs, to Elon Musk.
Think about it. Think about Steve Jobs, right? He got fired from his own company that he created. Right. I mean, I can hear some of those guys just saying, "Come on, be realistic, man. You're old. You know, we're trying to create a whole bunch of little gadgets here. Right. You know, you're thinking only about this one little iPod. You know, we're thinking a whole bunch of gadgets, and we're hoping that something sticks. You know, so we're going to go ahead and lay you off. You know, go ahead and...
You're washed up. You know, you fell off your rocker.
Exactly.
But, like, that reminds me, and someone I admire, I look up to the dedication is Walt Disney. Okay. Because he saw the mouse before anyone saw it. Yeah. And believed in it before anyone did. Yeah. Right? And he's another one that got fired from writing comics in the newspaper. You know? What if you listen to that person that fired him? Like, hey, I don't think you're ever going to make it in here, Walt. Yeah. Guess what? Little Bambi? You wouldn't have seen it. You know? Mary Poppins? Mickey Mouse? You know?
Not happening.
Goofy?
Not happening.
Goofy missing in your life? I know a lot of people that would be upset. That would be highly upset about looking at their life and not able to have Donald and having those characters, you know?
That's
and
funny.
Thinking about that, like, what if they told it? Exactly. People probably did tell Michael Jordan, hey, be realistic, kid. You haven't made the team the last 3 years. Why are you going to go out the senior year and try out for the team again? Yeah. Yeah. But he didn't listen, and that's the thing. You don't listen.
And now that goes to two points, right? Limiting beliefs. Yep. Right?
Mindset?
Mindset, limiting beliefs. So if we have this limiting beliefs, there's two people that are always against us. There are those who, you know, haters. Haters are going to hate, right?
Haters going to hate.
And then those are ourselves.
Yeah, and those haters are also putting their fear in you.
Yeah.
They're installing their fear in you. So if I go, hey, you guys, I'm thinking about doing, 5 million.
Yeah.
And then you're like, it's your first year.
Yeah.
I only did 2.
Yeah.
Maybe you should settle for, of course, Gus isn't in that business of being negative, but there's someone that could be like that. Yeah. And imagine how that could affect me. Like, oh damn, I look up to Gus.
Yeah.
Gus kind of brought me on,
and
he's telling me that 5 is too much. Yeah, maybe he's right.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't listen to anyone that says that.
So yeah, man.
So
I mean, good.
Tying it into the big why though. Back to that and the big why. To me, at least for my big why, when I used to, like how I said, I used to always say the surface level answer of, well, it's to retire my parents. That's why I go hard. That's why I want to show that I'm a good worker. That's why I go the extra mile.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's the fear of being average.
Ooh.
That's one of that's my big why.
How many people are average?
Oh, I mean,
how many people are average? People listening to this, it's kind of like, who are those two young guys right there? I don't really need to listen to them. I mean, and you'll have those people, right?
Right.
They're like, I'm not going to listen to anybody who's younger than me. Okay, great. Don't listen to any don't listen to Grant Cardone. Don't listen to any of these big name guys who started out young. And I think it's the tenacity and the grit that drives enough people to think outside the box and think crazy. It's like, okay, look, I have a goal. Everybody is reaching this level. Man, I want to triple that. I want to quadruple that. So I think once you start to act and think crazy things happen.
That exactly, and it's the mindset. What you focus on expands. Another Kellerism.
Yeah.
But what you focus on really does expand.
Exactly.
And then I was watching this thing. I think his name's Dave. I can't remember his name. He's a Navy SEAL, I believe, or Air Force, one of the two. And he was saying there's a tough boot camp, and then by the 3rd day, they usually know that they whip everybody's butt. By that 3rd day, people are exhausted. People are like, you're gonna rest that day. He told his troops. He told his squad, on this 3rd day, we're gonna go insane. No one breaks us.
Yeah.
No one breaks us on that 3rd day. They're ready to go again.
Exactly.
Then exactly, they start thinking crazy. So then, what happens when people start thinking crazy? Oh, hey, I'm not gonna mess with this guy.
Yeah.
This guy's crazy.
Yeah.
This guy's gonna go for it. No matter what. People back away from that because now they start getting intimidating, and now they're like, oh, dang.
Yeah.
I'm unable to control this.
Mm-hmm. Now let's break that down into daily work activities, right? Mm-hmm. So let's say you're in cold calling, right? We have a lot of real estate agents watching, so
right.
Let's say it's paperwork, it's follow up, it's client responding with clients.
Follow up,
exactly, follow ups, right? What happens once you hit that threshold of, look, okay, I know I can do calls for about an hour. And then after that, I'm done. I get tired. I need my coffee. I need this. I need to relax. What about if you made that one extra phone call, and that was the person who was going to send you 10 more businesses, that was going to give you his business, and that just changed your own business. If you were to make that one more phone call, or if you were to call up that one more follow up with that one client who's been waiting for you.
Right. No, it's funny that you mentioned that. I think earlier this week, an agent comes to me and says, Javi, man, I'm doing my calls, 8 to 12. And after that, I have lunch, and I don't know what to do after that. Because I did 8 to 12. Yeah. I did my hours. Like, kind of like, that was my activity. I did it, and I was unsuccessul. And it kind of goes to that mindset, too. What if you attack that call at 1 p.m. after lunch? Mm-hmm. Who would pick up? What if you did go that extra mile, or you went follow up? Because that's also the thing too that I think that some of us forget. We're looking so much for new business that we forget about the relationship that we built. Yeah. With that person, or with that client. Yeah. So I just think that, like, if those 5 hours aren't seeing success, then you got to probably do 5 more hours. You know, like that, or of course,
you got to learn something. You got to learn how to say something different.
Yeah, or you know, what is it? I love this quote. You know, it's like you keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. That's the level of insanity, right? So like, okay, you're doing.
I think Albert Einstein said
I think Albert. Yeah, he's kind of smart. He's a somewhat smart guy. Yeah. So
one would say.
Well, one would say that Albert Einstein knew a few things. So just like how Albert was saying, you know, then maybe it's your script. Maybe you take that day off and script practice.
Perfect your espresso.
And exactly. That's where I was going to. You perfect your espresso, because for you right now as a new, you know, stepping into this new world, this new realm of real estate, cold calling is probably going to be, that's going to be your bread and butter.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you're going to.
Or business.
Yeah, for business. So, you know, because you might get that one deal that cousin gives you.
Mm-hmm.
But is that a business? You know, I had family members buy my albums all day. You know, they purchased my music. Yeah. Now, I can't rely on, you know, my cousin George to be the one that gets me to have that seat at the Grammys. Yeah. You know, like, I have to do so much more.
Exactly. You know? All right. So we spoke about the big why. We spoke about perfecting your espresso. Now it's going to lead into the one thing, right? So a lot of us in business are scattered brain, right?
Speaking of scattered brain, I'm sorry. What is your big why?
What's my big why?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you. Way to put me on the spot. No,
I mean, I shared mine.
No, I want to change my family tree, man. I want to change my family tree. I want to get out of the suck. I want to create a legacy for my kids. And like you said, man, I don't want to be average. So what wakes me up at night? It's changing my family tree. So I want to create this legacy where my kids say, man, I don't want to have to worry about money. I don't want to have to worry about, you know, what I'm gonna eat at night, or what I'm gonna, you know, what am I gonna wear? You know. So again, I want to change my family tree. When I was a kid, didn't have all that, didn't have all those luxuries. So I don't want to let my kids have those kind of anxieties and worries. So let's finish it off.
Sorry, I wanted to hear that.
Let's finish it off with your one thing. So how do we know our big why? And when we know our big why, how do we use that to not be scattered brain and focus on the one thing, our espresso?
How do we do that? Oh, man. Ooh, do we have another hour on the podcast?
Nope.
Because, I mean, how do you do that? Well, you have to see what's the importance, or what's the 20% that you could do that gives you 80% of your revenue, or
say that again.
What's that 20% of that activity that you do, that 20% that gives you 80% of your results?
I like that.
So
focus on your 20.
Focus on your 20 to get that 80. You know, so if it's that cold calling that gets you the business, then you do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it's networking that's getting you that, or referrals, or the follow-up, or, you know, my other business owners out there, is it passing out flyers? Is it, you know, hitting up Instagram, working with influencers that could get you to over that hump, or get you that 80%?
Yep. You know what I was thinking about this? A lot of employees, right? They have a schedule.
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to show up to work at a certain time.
Right.
They're given a task, and then they do the task, and then they clock out at a certain time. Now, a lot of business owners, do they have a schedule?
Nope.
Do they? I mean, they show up to work, you know, after traffic, you know, after they wake up and they had their coffee, and then they, you know, woozy on over to their office, and then they start their day by 10:30ish, you know, and then
a hobbyist does, but not a business owner.
Yeah. So,
you know?
how many questions? So we'll close with this, right? How many of you guys have a schedule? Are you willing to share your schedule? I got a schedule. It's right there. You know, so I think that was a pretty good podcast. What do you think, Hav?
I think it's really good, man. Comment below. What's your one thing? You know, what's your big why? What gets your booty up out of the bed in the morning? You know, well, yeah. I'm gonna also end up with this. Also, like,
what do we want to hear?
What?
What do we want to hear from them?
we want to hear what their what's their big why? What gets them out of bed?
Okay, what do we for the next topic?
Oh yeah, and let us know what you guys want us to discuss on the next podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Or even who should we bring on? I have Grant Cardone's number. We could try to get him
he
on.
doesn't live in Miami. He's down the street.
Yeah, he
from
lives
us.
in Miami, so we could try to get that up. This is
Do
also
some
a
door knocking.
This is also a new setup. We're the aesthetics might change each episode as we perfect, as we grow and you grow and we learn all together. And make this a real hit. But just let us know what you think we should cover or what we didn't cover enough that you want to hear a little bit more. And pick me and Gus's brain, because we're here. We're here for the community, and we're here for to mastermind all together.
Yep.
But I wanted to say, what my thing also gets me up in the morning is Jocko, who another I think he was a SEAL too. He said that first battle is in the morning. That snooze. Are you gonna lose or are you gonna win? Mm-hmm. Are you gonna settle for comfort today?
Oh,
are you gonna settle for that comfort, bro? As soon as I heard that, man, I started waking my butt up at 6 a.m. and not hitting snooze. Just like getting up, and starting to do something, get the blood flowing. What motivates you, and think about that. Don't look for me and Gus to motivate you. Start thinking about that in yourself. Grant Cardone could only be on for so long. That podcast, if it's Joe Rogan or like I said, Jocko, look for your own motivation. You have to be able to light a fire underneath you, before anyone else can.
Exactly. All right, so that's good. So business owners, get out there and do some business.
Yeah, follow your schedule.
There you go. All right, good job, guys. Keep going out there. Follow us.
Follow, like, comment, subscribe.
There you go. All of the above. All right,
That's
guys.
it, man. We out.
Out.